Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Solar Life. That Socks right there. Hello, Socks.
He's watching us.
Yeah, John's here on the floor playing with his
Straw and his mouse.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sometimes it's the mouse, sometimes it's the straw.
so we're talking about on Facebook. We have this conversation going about smoking, and I wanted to talk about it.
You smoked up the kitchen.
Yeah. I do this now. I don't smoke anymore. But I don't know where it is, John. You have to bring it to me. I don't know.
You have to bring it back, John.
Anyway, so I'll start with the story about my dad. Ow!
He's got really sharp claws.
John.
His claws are like needles, aren't they, honey?
Yeah.
Ouch. He gets me real good every once in a while too. He wants to play, but
yeah, here it is. Anyway, my dad joined the Canadian Merchant Navy in World War II. You know, he was 16 years old, and he took the North Atlantic route and made it over to England when my grandmother, contacted her member of parliament and everything, and my dad was detained. He was arrested, and he was sitting in jail.
He was a runaway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a better way of thinking of it, looking at it. That's true. That's what he was. Anyway,
how old was he? Like 14 or something?
16.
16.
Which, for those who know who Audie Murphy was was 16 when he went into the army. But
well, Tom was 17 and turned 18 when he was in basic training. He basically went on delayed entry.
My dad kept asking for cigarettes, and the guards kept giving him cigarettes, and he's like, "Why don't you just let me go?" And they're like, "Well, we have to find out how old you really are." He said, "Well, you're giving me cigarettes. I mean, how old do you think I am?" And they're like, because for those who are old enough, back in the day, cigarettes, everybody smoked. I mean,
my mom said she started when she was about 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah. So, they kept giving my dad cigarettes, but
that was almost part of their pay back then.
Yeah. In the army, it used to be where they just give you packs, like in your C rations, it'd be a pack of cigarettes.
It was like they're handing you a candy bar.
Yeah. And then I remember in elementary school, I just put these pants on yesterday. Now there's blood all over the pant leg. Mrs. Hunt, who was my principal in one of the 5 or 6 or 7 elementary schools I went to, I was with her, and we were at hospital, and one of her relatives was in the room. We were in the hallway, and and there were people smoking in the hallway, and this guy's on oxygen and everything in the room.
Look, you didn't blow the damn place to kingdom come.
Yeah. And he's on a ventilator and everything, and it's like,
here's everybody smoking away like a chimney, huh?
Yeah. And then when I was in HIH, Houston International Hospital Adolescent Unit, they had a cigarette machine. I would have been, I don't even know what year that was. Anyway, I was a teenager. Let's say young to early to mid-teens, because that was actually middle school. That would have been middle school, because that's where I got sent after I got expelled from middle school. And they had a cigarette machine there. Pack of Marlboro Red, 75 cents. Now it costs, what, $6-7 for a pack of cheap cigarettes. And when I was after HIH, I went to Edgemead up in Mineral Wells. We had cigarettes there. We'd go to town, buy a carton or a pack or 2 or 3 packs.
God, now buy a carton is like what, $40, $50.
Yeah, something like that. Then I got, after Edgemead, I went home. I got kicked out of high school, and
you had a rough life.
Yeah. went to Devereaux, and they
Got
gave
your
us,
damn mother.
yeah, and they gave us cigarettes in Devereaux too. And Devereaux is south of Victoria in Texas. They have a lot of campuses, so they're still around. And
I don't know what it is with mean mothers.
I know. And they gave us cigarettes. You know, it was no big deal. And now in Edgemead, you could not dip. You could smoke, but you couldn't dip.
That doesn't make sense.
I know, to me either. But
Maybe it was a mess.
yeah, could have been. But I would rather do this anyway. But I've been doing this since I was in Edgemead. The first time I did it, I bought a can of Copenhagen.
I'm glad you don't do that.
I bought a can of
It's too damn expensive.
Yeah, I bought a can of Copenhagen, put it in my mouth in my bathroom in my room, and I couldn't keep it in. And so I spit it out, and one of the staff, he saw something in the sink,
Oh,
and he said, "Boy, you been dipping?" I'm like, "No, I haven't been dipping." I had, but and I used chewing tobacco when I was in Edgemead for a while, but I was dipping Copenhagen. That's what I was dipping. I started with Skull, well, the Copenhagen in Edgemead. Then in Devereaux, I started with Skull, but that's like smoking menthol cigarettes. I don't like it. So I went to the Copenhagen, this is similar to Copenhagen. It's, like straight tobacco. I tried this stuff called Male Pouch, which was um, a plug of chewing tobacco, and you bit some off, and it would kind of expand, and it was like pure tobacco. There was no flavoring in it, just pure tobacco. But
my dad chewed. I think it was Red Man, and he cut it off.
oh,
It was like chopped up tobacco,
yeah,
but it like had a leaf like wrapped around it. It
mhm,
was almost like a deck. It was about the size of a deck of cards, like that. I don't know if he kept plastic bag, like a sandwich baggie or something in his pocket, maybe.
yeah. So anyway, folks, so yeah, back in the day, I'm talking to my tobacco use started in the, like, I guess the mid '70s. My dad's tobacco use started in the '30s, and continued to, he stopped smoking, what was it, a year or 2 years before he died, and he was only in his 50s, and the army doctor said, "You have cancer." He died a year later. Well, when he found out he had terminal cancer, he went straight back to 4 packs a day.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so
Well, some people seem like they're more resistant to the effects of it than
yeah,
others.
your brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he still smokes.
yeah.
He smoked. Kelly was born like in the 1950s,
So
right around there.
so anyway, that's my story about tobacco.